I'm an opera singer, and I was singing in Europe for about 15 years. But I said just a minute ago, it's like being in church when you hear all these different testimonies of people who have, that come out and the preacher touches them on the head and they go, I'm healed, I can walk. But watch out, I just might fall over. I'm an easy pushover these days. The thing was, when I went in for my surgery, and this was like 6 weeks ago on March the 14th, so I'm about 43 days and I've lost 41 pounds. So it's about a pound a day. I can walk. No. When I went in, like the day before you have to go in for the meeting and everything, I said, where's the closest door? And I could hardly walk from the front door to where the meeting room was. And the day after, right after the surgery, I said I had to go to the meeting. I said, where was it? Sandy, please get me the wheelchair because I'm not sure I can stand up. I might fall down. I couldn't walk anymore. So now I don't have to get the handicap cart when I go to Walmart because I can walk. I'm only 41 pounds. I'm still carrying a lot of weight. But I feel so much better. And I did do the patch. It's very famous about the patch. Because when I was there at clinic for 1 month, it was
put on the patch and then ask me about the complaints.
Do I really need the patch? Trust me, try the patch. That's what he said. So I said, I'll try it if it helps me to feel better. And I thought I didn't need it emotionally. I thought I was really doing fine. But I needed it also to help me to be able to eat because I felt like my stomach was so closed. Now, the weird thing kind of right now is, even in the past few days, I still have these things in my brain that says, I'm afraid I'm not going to lose. And I know I have to wash that out. Maybe some of the people who have been there can help me with that because I still have this little fear, like, okay, I'm not going to lose.
How many of you after surgery thought you wouldn't lose? Right? Everybody, right?
I'm afraid it's going to stop any minute and I'll be stuck.
Right. Everybody thought it's not going to work in me, right?
Well, because you think of... Oh, yeah.
Except for, I can't say her name because she doesn't want to be on the internet, but contestant A. So you never had any doubt?
Not at all.
But you're a strong person.
Well, because that almost seems it's too good to be true.
Let's cut that.
That's what it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does seem to. No, listen to the stories we've heard today. Doesn't it sound? I mean, I can eat anything. I feel great. I've done terrific. I would do it every year. I mean, it does. Right. And you look spectacular. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that moment I can eat anything. Okay, I'm not there yet, and I do try carefully.
Supposed to be there.
Yeah, I do try carefully little things. Like I had 4 Cheetos the other day. My dad said, "Well, let me try one." And it went down, and it was nice. And I had 4, but I was done.
Yeah.
I was fine, but I didn't feel like, hey, I can never have a Cheeto. And today, I have to say, took my dad to Wendy's. Okay, my dad's 87, and he lives with me. And I took him to Wendy's, and he said, well, what are you going to get? Well, I'm not doing salad. So I said, well, we'll try the chicken nuggets. And I know.
What?
Try a chicken nugget. Fried food. I haven't had any fried food. So I did take 1 chicken nugget, and I ate it, chewed it very well, ate it real slow to see where it landed. It landed just fine. So then I had 2.
And
you know what? I am not bending over. I am not in pain, and I didn't have gas. I must have digested it. So, I didn't have to run and get the Maalox bottle. So I think, I did well. And the thing was, I was able to stop with 2. But the morning after surgery, the most important thing I want to say again is, I woke up, and that morning I said, I just feel free. I said, I'm finally free to be me. Whoever that's going to be, because I don't know. I've never been thin one day in my life. So when and if I'm looking like some of you guys, you look like you never had an ounce of fat on you. You know, she looks like she never had an ounce of fat. And I thought, she must be a supporter because she has no flab, no arms, no nothing. You know, and I'm going.
It waves back.
Yeah, we all
to hear, you know, to hear all of you today, and this is why I came. It's taking me, giving me courage to, you know, go on and not every day just thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to lose, but think they did it. If it worked for them, it should work for me. So you're helping me to change my mindset.
It will.
You know.
And all of you can remember that first month. You know, it was very tough. It's very scary because you're not sure. Now you see all these people, they look so confident. Back in that first month, they were where you are.
And there's a lot of things that go on in that first month. But I found a friend today. You're sitting next to Giovanni, and he has the most wonderful Italian restaurant here in Las Vegas. So he's getting.
Tell me, where is that restaurant?
Giovanni. What's it?
And the address on Las Vegas Boulevard?
Hey, Nora's Cuisine. And he's also a wonderful tenor, so he sings. So we share, you know, a lot of things in common. I spent many years in Italy, so it's really fun when you meet up with him and you can kind of speak Italian and everything. But he's getting his operation on Wednesday. And I want you to pay special attention to him because he had
my usual sloppy hair.
He just told me he had the lap band.
Now what, you can't just go talking about people.
So, he doesn't matter. He's a friend of mine. You know, it's in the family. So
it's private.
It's really, I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing, and I just told him go for it, and if you have any questions, call me, you know, if my experience can be of any help. So today I'm doing good. Not every day is a perfect day, but I'm 41 pounds less. I can walk. You know, talk to me in 2 months from now, you know, let's see where I am. Maybe I'll be a great story like all of the rest of you. But it's a great thing. One thing, Dr. Let me just repeat, if there's people here who are considering this surgery, are you? Other people? Okay, I'm from Las Vegas, and before I went to Dr. Rutledge's seminars, about 2 of them. Or maybe even 3, because I went through quite a few, didn't I? You know, and then I said, well, I really got to check this out. So I went to our Ruin Y at one of the other hospitals. A couple of these other guys who do other surgeries per se, and I went through it, and then afterwards I talked to the surgeon, you know, apart. And I said to him, well, what do you think about this surgery that Dr. Rutledge does? He says, well, you know, I don't recommend it. But he said, and they talked about that in the seminar, but he said, if you do it, then make sure you do it with Dr. Rutledge.
Or Dr. Bragley.
Well, he said, and so I thought that was a pretty good recommendation if your enemies were telling you, you know, to do that. And so I thought that was pretty good. And then since then, I was convinced. It just took me time to get there, to get to him. But I'm happy. And I got the scars to prove it.
Is the scarring bad?
No.
We're going to ask somebody to